Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Endless Legend, where, look, I'm going to be straight with you. We've won the game. This game is over. So, here's the deal. We have 909 diplomatic points. We need 2,500 to win, which means we need to get 1,591 more. We've seen that making deals with other players gives us diplomatic points at a rate of 1 diplomatic point per 10 points of influence spent on the deal, which means that I need to make deals worth 15,910 influence in order to win this game from this point. We are currently at 12,500, and we're making over 1,000 per turn. It's just going to be a couple clicks of the end turn button, and then the very tedious process of me making 200 deals, right? Giving somebody 1 dust, which gains us, 20, or costs 20 influence or whatever, a whole bunch of times until we win. Now, I do think that I've struggled to express myself clearly about why diplomatic victories feel kind of bad to me. I think part of it is that it's one of the only it's the only victory type where the other players have to actively aid and abet you in a way that they obviously wouldn't. Right? Everybody in the game can see what I'm doing. Everybody has access to this graph and this graph, and everybody would know that I am going to win if they deal with me. So they would just refuse to accept my gifts, right? I guess, except for people who are allied with me, if they consider an allied victory to be a real victory, in which case they should be trading very aggressively with me, I suppose. But you know what if you're playing against the AI and you're playing like everybody's out to win by themselves, it just feels very strange that they would help you, that they would accept the stuff, but they always do. So when we actually go to win, the process of winning is going to be a very tedious bunch of low-yield gift-giving, which I'm not going to make you watch, I've decided, because we could sit here, and it's probably going to take me 15 or 20 minutes of just clicking menus over and over again, and I am not, I'm just going to cut. We're going to get to the point where we have enough influence to make the thing happen, and then I'm going to cut. We'll cut back in right as I make the last couple of deals, and then we'll start the new episode, or the new game, right here in this episode, which will be Roving Clans, I think. Roving Clans they have some weird, unique concerns, and that'll be 2 games in a row where we're not conquering the world, probably, but hey, don't worry. We'll get back to exterminating all other life on Auriga soon enough. We have a lot of factions left. So, let's do it. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. This thing that I'm building reduces the cost of diplomatic treaties by 30%. It strikes me that this is actually bad. I was building it because influence, but actually, if it reduces the cost of treaties, it's also going to reduce our influence gain, or our diplomatic point gain from each treaty. I just spent a bunch of dust on this, rushing it, but what if I canceled construction though? Because what I'm thinking is that this is going to make me have to click 30% more times. I'm going to cancel the construction on this. Take that, the rest of the world. Look at that incredible display of just disregard. The callousness of it. And I think we're probably actually not going to end up killing the sea monster because of the open wounds, the fact that my units are not healing at all. I want to fight the sea monster. I want to see what we get as a reward for killing it. I know that when the expansion released, the reward for killing the sea monster was a little weak, but they did buff it up afterward. But this maybe is just not the game due to the way things timed out. Okay, what's up? Oh, hey, I did that. So we got Town Criers. Cool. I think that's a good tech. I don't really think that there's a lot of stuff of value to get here. Obviously, we should get some more influence. I'm down with that. Can you also get me more influence? You cannot. Wow, what a bad... You hire a hero who has 1 skill point, and it's in Indiana Bones, which, don't get me wrong, is a very good name for a skill. Unfortunately, not so good in all of the other ways. I don't know, make one of these? I'm going to put stuff in the build queues, because I feel like there ought to be stuff in the build queues. But honestly, we're pretty much just running to the end here. There we go, that's enough. That's enough build time. That'll fill that up. so 13... This might be the turn, right? Because we will have reduced the number of diplomatic points we had to buy a fair amount. We're at the ability to generate 1,530 diplomatic points. We've been pulling a few diplomatic points per turn. Not quite enough to make this the go-in turn. But hey, like a turn 94 victory is very strong. That's like it's also it's weirdly difficult to interact with people doing the diplomatic victory, and you know if they have at least one other player in the game who's willing to trade with them, how do you stop it, right? So there's some stuff about this particular victory condition that doesn't seem to fit with how the rest of the victory conditions feel, I guess, is more my main complaint than it being too easy necessarily, although I do think it is too easy. Or at least it turns out to have been too easy. This this very well may go down as our fastest victory over the series. I have a hard time imagining a turn 94 win in any other game. But I don't like to go for the diplomatic victory in the same way that I don't really count an allied victory as a victory sort of internally, because they do feel sort of outside of what the rest of the game is. So, real quick here, let's just make sure that I haven't done any bad math. We are now at 951. Yeah, okay. We can make it from here. So, I'll see you all in a little bit. Okay, well, that did not take nearly as long as I thought it would. We managed to get through that pretty quickly. So one of the guys who maintains the Endless Legend community patch told me that he had added some increased cost for tech trades, increased cost for successive tech trades, and that actually did allow us to blow through that influence really, really quickly. So I believe that we should now, upon hitting end turn here, I think we should be well past the amount of diplomatic points we need for the victory. So instead of properly loading us into the next turn, it should just show us that beautiful, beautiful win screen. But we may pop back in here. Okay, yes, we won the diplomatic victory. Blue and pink won a shared victory because they were good friends, sort of, except they were terrible and they kept taking me back down to peace and Cold War, and I had to drag them kicking and screaming to victory. Listen, we all know this is not a coalition. We are not a team. I won the game, and these guys are my mind control slaves, and that's how that worked out. But I guess, at the end of the day, a win's a win, so good for them. We ended up at 2596. This is pretty much always what the diplomatic victory looks like. Listen, I'm pretty hard on it, and I do not think that it's a super fun way to win the game. I did want to record one of each victory, at least, for the series. But if you have a difference of opinion about the diplomatic victory, or if you've had fun games that ended in a diplomatic victory or whatever, I actually would love to hear about that. So please do feel free to leave comments in the comment area below. And also, if you took the save from the beginning of this game and you played it out and your game unfolded very differently, please let us know about that as well. I'm very curious to hear what experiences people had on that map, which I think was a very powerful map, to be clear. The fact that I won on turn 94 here is only partially that the diplomatic victory is easy, and only partially my play. We had a really, really good start. So, anyway, with that, game finished, turn 94, let's just launch immediately into the new thing, where we're going to be playing, I believe, the Roving Clans. This is where people came down. Honestly, almost everybody who commented on the last episode had a different opinion about who should be played. But as of the time of this recording, Roving Clans are the only ones who had 2 votes. So and I think they're fun, and I'm not good with them. So this will be interesting, coming off of a streak of victories there. So, traders, explorers, and adventurers, the Roving Clans are nomadic and mercantile. Traversing Ariga on their great beasts of burden, the clans bring commerce and hard-headed negotiation to the far corners of the world. So you have a settler, pretty normal settler. It is worth noting that I believe the Roving Clan settler is, he's a cavalry settler, so he's actually faster than most factions, which helps you to settle in a different location than your starting region on the first turn sometimes, but also they have some mechanics that make it a little bit less important where exactly you put your city down. We have the Dervish as our basic cavalry, or our basic military unit. It is a cavalry unit with charge and fast, and the capability to stun, because it has, that's not something specific to the unit, I think it just starts with a hammer. We can eventually pick up the Kasai, which is a cavalry archer. It doesn't have the cavalry class, it doesn't respond to things that affect cavalry, it is a ranged unit, but you can see it has 7 speed, so very unusual. And their final unit is the Heavy Infantry Yermak, with Sweep Strike Back, and Sweep, obviously equipped with claws for the Sweep Strike Back. Not amazing militarily, and your military is pretty much entirely defensive because, where is it here? We actually can't declare war on people. This is going to make it extremely important to stake out good territory at the beginning of the game and make sure that we get everything that we want. A lot of early settling. Because if somebody else takes a province that we wanted to settle in, it is a huge pain to get control of it. Very, very difficult. Potentially impossible. Alright, we have nomadic cities. So all of the Roving Clan cities are built on the backs of these giant beetles, these giant scarabs. And you can actually pick up the scarab and crawl over to somewhere else and then burrow in to move the city around. I do not believe in all of my hours of playing Endless Legend I have ever made good use of this ability. It really... The way I think about cities and placements and stuff in this game just really doesn't mesh well with my cities being mobile, so feel free to point out points in the game where it would be beneficial to move the cities around, or like even just how you usually use this if you find this is a thing you get a lot of use out of. During eclipses, provides 20% more health regeneration on units standing on city tiles, and massively buffs the Setsuke is the giant beetle. Massively buffs the beetle's attributes, like such that you are supposed to use them in combat, or... I mean, that's an interesting idea. Just pick it up and fight people with it. Can you even do that? I don't know. We'll have to figure out what massively buffs Setsuke attributes actually means. Brace yourself. We get additional city upkeep costs during the winter, and our trade routes are less effective during the winter. The offset for this is that the trade routes are slightly more effective during the summer, but basically winter is just very, very hard for the Roving Clans. We're going to be really reliant on dust, and we're going to take a huge dust hit every winter. We receive 8% of every transaction fee paid by other empires. This is talking about the cost you pay for goods on the market. I think transaction fee refers to the entire price of the transaction. Maybe. The point is, it's free dust. The other players use the market all the time. We're just going to get some free money. Obviously, that will go up as the game goes on. It's not really going to happen in the first couple of turns when we most need dust. We have additional information on the use of the marketplace, so we get to see exactly who buys and sells what, which will give us some information about what's going on in the world. We also run the market. It's my market. It's the Roving Clans' market. So we can ban people. If we decide we don't want somebody to be able to use the market, we can spend some influence and just ban them. They can trade with us, negotiate with us to get us to remove the market ban, or they can just shed the market ban at some point. Shedding the market ban is extremely expensive in terms of influence, but the cost goes down over time. So if you've been banned from the market for a long time, you can get out of it relatively easily. Of course, we could just re-ban you if it comes to that. We can't make war, which is, not awesome. And we have better mercenaries than everybody else. We have better privateers and mercenaries. So, the upkeep of privateers is reduced. All of our mercenary troops have twice as much health and an extra point of movement. We really haven't used mercenaries at all. This might be a good game for that to change. The privateer ability refers to, there's a tech that is usually in Era 5 that allows you to take an army and switch its flag over to neutral and then have it march around and do stuff. You still control it, it just appears as a neutral army to everybody else. So you can, if you need some bad stuff to happen, you can get some privateers, have them, say, burn down a city, so that you can then place a new city in its location. So we do have an option, we do have a release valve if somebody settles us in a way that's unfortunate, but mercenaries will not, I believe, privateers will not claim the city in our favor, they'll just burn it, I believe. So even if we did want to take a location that somebody else settled, we have to start over there. We have to settle a brand new city. Peace and prosperity lets us get commercial and research agreements for free. We don't have to pay the influence cost of proposing those terms. It does not, I believe, force other empires to accept, so we still won't get them a lot. But keep in mind, the commercial and the research agreement increase. It's not just like a flat bonus to your science and money, as they are in many other games. These specifically buff the output of your trade routes. So hopefully we're going to have a lot of trade routes with a lot of people. So those agreements could be great if we can get them. And you might not be surprised to know, we start the game with Imperial coinage and the mercenary market, because it's my market. I know how the market works. I can buy stuff and sell stuff whenever I want. That does mean that early game resources that we don't have a use for, we can sell very easily, so a lot of extra dust in the early game that other players don't necessarily have access to. Also, it drives me a little bit crazy that there are really only 6 different colors in the selector. 2 of them are just different shades of already existing colors, but it doesn't start you with the 6 unique colors when you go to the thing. Aside from that, the game settings are all what we've been using so far. I really like not having any idea what we're going to find. It makes the exploration phase of the game a lot more interesting, in my opinion. So I haven't played the Roving Clans a ton, to my memory. Obviously, they're geared toward an economic victory, and the economic victory is just earn a lot of dust. You don't necessarily have to do anything with the dust, you just have to have, from the beginning of the game, earned, I believe, 666,600 dust. I don't actually have any idea how easy or difficult that's going to be. I also don't know if it gives you, like, if it counts all the dust you make, because we're going to see up in the upper left, right, plus 40 dust. But on a turn where you get plus 40 dust, you don't make 40 dust. You make considerably more than that, and then you lose some of it to building upkeep and whatnot. I'm not sure if the economic victory counter is counting all of the dust that you make before paying upkeep costs, or if it only counts your net dust each turn. And knowing that actually could be pretty important, because it's going to change whether it... if it counts your total dust income, then building a lot of stuff and getting a lot of extra upkeep doesn't actually affect your victory speed. But if it only counts the net, building anything you don't need actually slows your victory down. Suppose that would be a good thing to know.
Some hope to control their destiny by building. Others through science or by conquest. Do they not see that only dust can give them what they want? For it is money and power and magic, all intertwined in a single miraculous substance. It is the essence that binds our civilizations together. Perhaps, as we let them believe, it is our weakness. But I have seen its wonders. It is not our weakness. It is rather how we will rule them all.
Okay, that was... Had my mouse pointer off screen there, and it just took off. Okay, before I do anything, this is me remembering to save the game. And then we'll post that save. I don't know if people are actually getting any use out of those, but keep making them for the moment. So, what I'm seeing here is not a ton of initial dust generation, but we do have a river, and a river can be very good for early dust, of course, because of aquapulvistics. While we're here at the tech tree, I suppose we ought to real quickly look at activate 4 luxury resource boosters in order to get 130 gold, and pacify 8 villages in order to get tactical training. Those are both, like, pretty doable. They're both going to come down to luck somewhat, but they're both doable. So I do not see any anomalies in our start here, but let's have a look around. Fortunately, we are very, very good at scouting. Also, man, this is a lot of river. Okay, so we have an Earth Tower, which is one of the better anomalies, right on the river. That's certainly interesting. What in the other direction? I guess in the other direction we have cliff, mostly. We could move a guy to here, then here, then here. That's 4 points of movement. Looks like the only way down is that, which is a little non-ideal. I'm going to move our other dervish just up into this corner. I don't think we're going to be able to go anywhere from here, but it will give us a lot of vision. Okay, so 2 stasis pillars right next to each other is an awful lot of science. But as always, when you're talking about your initial city, you need either a lot of food or a lot of industry, and it would be great if you could have both. Also, I said I didn't see any anomalies, but there's escaped specimens, like, actually right there. And then I think what we're going to do with our hero is pop the hero off to here. Grab this. Okay, just 5 titanium, that's fine. Then we're going to move over here and grab this. And get a quest to search that ruin, which we will totally do. And then I guess the hero can move this way, because it's still possible that we could end up settling over here, right? I kind of want to. Like, this location right here looks pretty attractive. We can make that in 1, right? So what is the village type in this region? What is the minor faction type in this region, rather? It is Gelderus, plus damage. Not necessarily the best for what we're going for. But Black Earth in a forested river is pretty powerful. Like, that settle right there is 14-12-4. It has no dust initially. But we don't necessarily need to be generating dust initially. The more dust we have early on, the more effectively we can use the fact that we have immediate market access, but it's not essential to our function. We can just build up like any other faction builds up. We're not like the Necrophages where we're worse at that, to help compensate for our other gimmicks. Other options, reasonably, if we wanted to put down just on this river over here, 10-12-4, it's just a worse settle. And one of the fun things about the beetle is that if we put down here and it turns out maybe to not be the most ideal location in the region or something, we could just pick up and move later. But I think we really ought to establish the city this turn. 14-12 is a really strong start. We'll get Aquapulvistics early. That'll give us access to the dust from the river. I actually really like this. I think we're going to go for this. We may come back to this region to settle our first city. And since we know we're not settling there, we don't need to... I should have searched this ruin as soon as I moved this guy over here, but I got distracted. But it turns out not to have mattered. Okay, so here in Mapal, let's turn off the resource overlay for a moment just to reduce visual busyness. Obviously, the first thing we're doing is Founders Memorial. We want to get our Mill Foundry up, and then we probably have to go straight into Empire Mint from there. We're 11 to 31 turns off of winter. I wonder if we could get... If we're going to build a Dust Dredger before winter, we need to do it as early as possible. I guess I don't need to make this decision right now. We'll focus on food. We'll get the Founders Memorial before the Mill Foundry's done anyway. We might be able to move some people over to Science. Just try to get those to complete on the same turn, but for right now, that's not necessary. And you are probably just going to have to come back over this way and help us search in this direction. So I do see a lava flow here. Where's that lava flow actually coming from? Does it just starts here? That's weird. And then it runs down to right there. So is this could be a volcanic region then, maybe? We can't actually see the tiles. Ah, yeah, see when I mouse over this, it says no health region on volcanic terrain. So that's interesting. It's good to know. There may be an awful lot of strategics over there. It has been said by men and women wiser than myself that only the gods can know the beginnings and ends of things, and in claiming to recount a tale one steps upon their all-powerful toes. I dare to say that I have a tale, however, and in the telling of it I hope to offend neither the listener nor the gods, for though there is a beginning, it is you who will see it through until the end. Blessings, then, on the infinitely wise Radat, Mistress of Tered and Goddess of Numbers, and the quick-witted Tebadel, Master of Words and God of Commerce, and on their families and on their children, and on you and on yours. I was born Asun Ar Delgur in the year of the White Sparrow, called 23rd Penitence by the Red Wizards, or 1647 ASA by the Metal Lords. The fourth son of a fourth son, I knew there would be little of my family's fortune for me. So when I was of an age, I set out to make my own, armed only with the wisdom of my clan and the blazing confidence of a youth who has not yet seen great misfortune. I did, in time, see it, though I will not trouble you with the tales of those years, of the thousands of yearbat I traveled across this amazing world, of the sights I saw, of the wealth I won and won again. Suffice it to say that in the year of the Silent Dove, known as 1675 by the Metal Lords, I founded this city with a handful of troops, seeking to discover the truths behind certain legends. It is best to be undisturbed when seeking truths, particularly when they are not underfoot. First, pacify the Nidya villages in the region with the ruins indicated by the rays. Okay, so there's a village in here somewhere, that village right there, and we have to pacify it one way or another. And when we do that, we'll get some titanium, which is kind of whatever. I mean, we could sell the titanium, at the very least. It is actually not trivial to access this village. Yeah, wow, that thing is, like, way off on its own. Well, we don't have the ability to talk to them yet anyway, so I don't see a lot of value in going down there. After we get this first point of population rushed out, we are probably going to want to redevote some people to science, because this start does not have a lot of science, and hopefully we'll be able to make something useful of it. And I was going to loop this guy around this way. I'm wondering if it's maybe better to have him go down here and have the hero be the one who loops over here, just to get extra XP off of that ruin search, because we're going to get to search it twice. I think that's what I'm going to do. We haven't really talked about our hero yet. We should probably do that. So, our hero has Dust Efficiency 2, not Dust Boost, and Army Health Boost 2, which is okay for now. It's kind of, I don't really like to take heroes that have Army Health Boost, because you are guaranteed to get it even without having to research any technologies, just from one of the Dust Army Commander trinkets. So I kind of think this hero's not spectacular for either purpose, but Traveling Salesman will be a little bit of dust for us. We don't have any boosts to rivers, do we? No, just trade routes and stuff. It is worth noting that it is a good idea to get at least one Roving Clan player, or Roving Clan hero, up to high level quickly, so that you can take advantage of Black Marketeer and run a whole lot of trade routes. So that may be Serial Astra's role. Just trying to get to high level. Oh yeah, did we look at these? Be the first to activate 4 luxury boosters in order to get 130 gold, and be the first to pacify 8 villages. Both totally reasonable, and the gold might be really valuable. So we need one more turn of food focus to make sure we get that citizen out. You'll notice we are hemorrhaging dust. This is what happens when you have absolutely no dust generation in your initial city. Okay, so it is a 3-village Gelderus region. We definitely want to try to take advantage of that soon. So if we do this, we finish... If we move one person over to science, we finish the Mill Foundry in 2 turns. We cannot also get the Founder's Memorial down, so I think I'm going to have this person continue to focus on food. Just keep trying to push population for the moment, and... if we want the hero to go and get that, then it makes more sense for this guy to just reverse direction entirely. Because the hero's going to see all this stuff. Boy, this is a very cliff-heavy area. It's going to be annoying to fight in, that's for sure. There are some decent anomalies over here. I don't know that it's worth... It's probably not worth picking up and moving. I don't actually even really know how the mechanics of picking up and moving work. The Setsuke carries all the buildings on its back, and I think if you have more than one district, the Setsuke, like, all of the districts move with you. Obviously, it's not a thing I've gotten a lot of use out of, like I was saying. So we gotta be on the lookout for potential good settling locations. Because it's very, very important that we get what we need before other players get what we need. Although it looks like we may be pressed against the top of the world on a little island here, maybe? I suppose from the size of it, it's more of a continent than an island. Alright, so when we finish the mill foundry, what do we do next? Obviously, there's value in Language Square. If we go for Language Square, we probably shouldn't bother with Aquapulvistics until the winter's over. But we could go, like, Language Square Empire Mint. That's not bad. We'll let the Founders Memorial finish, and then we'll get on the mill foundry, and we'll probably want to redistribute our citizens at that time. It looks like this area is not cliffed, but it's there's definitely a step down here. Nope, it is cliffed. Wow, it is super hard to get everywhere. I'm actually not going to get to that in time for the double search. Well, that's a shame. The good news is it's going to be a total nightmare for everybody to move around here, and our cavalry is blunting that somewhat by giving us effectively 50% more move. Well, literally, it's not effectively 50% more move. It's just 50% more move. This is very compelling. Look at that. I believe the Spiral Rock Peels, yeah, have approval on them as well. This is a fantastic spot for a city. And it actually has a fair amount of dust and a little bit of science and stuff. That is for sure where we are putting city number 2. Well, our hero can get the one search off, at least. It'd be really cool if we could find some dust, because I am going to need some dust to remain solvent. Alright, it's a start. I wonder if we're out here alone. It is a little strange to have not seen any evidence of anyone else. Did we get like a weird little continent to ourselves? I guess this guy's going to reveal all of this so we can have him go around the corner here looking for the ruin. And let's talk about our city now. Obviously, we need a mill foundry very badly. If I pull us off of science, we're looking at 5 turns on the language square, which is not ideal, but we really need this mill foundry. What if we have everybody on food? 2-6? Alright. Let's do this for right now. When this other citizen is born, I'm going to move I'm going to move both of these guys over onto industry, and we're going to get through that. And we're just going to take it a little bit slow on the science. We're getting reasonable growth and building. I wonder if we're in a position that's similar to what the Forgotten were in the game where we played Ardent Mages, where like we're gonna find that it's connected to another little subcontinental area over here, and it's just like a land bridge between me and another player. Alright, at some point, get 20 influence for free. I will say I really prefer the ruins that give you a thing right now, although not sure that I'm in love with all of this glass, steel, and titanium. Out of curiosity, what are these worth? Well, okay, so 5 titanium is a little bit better than 30 dust. And of course, it wouldn't be our wonderful little subcontinent here if it didn't have a bunch of really strange, arbitrary cliffs. But hey, this kind of stuff is exactly why I want to play with the terrain settings really random, because I really want to be able to be surprised. I want to have very little idea what I am going to find when I set out. Alright, so we're 4 turns off a language square. I'm going to have the hero make a run for the Nidya village. Move our faction quest along, and I'm going to try to make sure that one of our other characters is near one of the villages here. Because, man, if we could pacify the Gelderus easily, that would make things a whole lot better. Well, alright. It's a lot of very unimpressive ruins. I was kind of hoping for like a lust for loot by this point or something like that. Does sort of seem like we are alone. Well, that's certainly interesting. So the good news is we're probably not going to have to fight anybody for territory. We can maybe try to get a hold of some boats early on. Probably not by building them, but rather by just hiring a couple of mercenary boats. Have a look around at the fortresses and stuff. Maybe we can get a little bit lucky and get a good fortress quest or two that leads to control of a region. Erisys over here. Obviously, I would love it if we could find a region that had like a whole lot of delvers in it. Really does seem like we got a lot of anomalies. The world gen settings I'm playing with must just make anomalies a lot more common. Alright, so if I put you both over here, you get the mill foundry in 1. What if I put you here? Can we get... Yeah, we can get language square next turn. That's probably pretty valuable. I need... Okay, I need 2 people on it. I just want to be able to search stuff, and not like our hero needs to talk to this guy and get out of there, and... Okay. So we're in good position to get some quests here. Let's hope they're easy to do. Make sure there is no enemy in Gogthal in 5 turns. Well, I think we're going to get some movement on the Merchant's Tale in 5 turns. That was easy enough. Let's see what these guys want. Come on, let it be even easier. In the next Empire plan, don't put any influence in military and set economy and population to its level 1 minimum. Okay, upside is that that's very easy. The downside, of course, is that that means I can't pacify these guys until turn 21. Ah well, we shall persevere. Somehow I'll be okay. Give the Erisys 10 titanium. Well, and we can just do it, right? 2 titanium would be... or 5 titanium I'd have to buy. Would be most of our dust. We could sell off some glass steel, but it's not urgent. Like, if this was a region we were planning on settling next, I'd be a little bit more inclined to put forth the effort. And then, now that this is about done, what do we want to do? I kind of want to pull people back to food. Now that we actually have the ability to build stuff. But we also need the Empire Mint. That's a 6-turn difference in our next birth. You get the Empire Mint online in, or available to build in 3 turns. Like, what if I want to build a settler? I'm just thinking, like, getting the second city established as early as possible because we know its location is going to be so strong is definitely compelling, but I wonder if I'd be better off waiting for winter. Because we're not really under a lot of time pressure, right? As far as we know, there are no other players connected to us. Still, we're under time pressure from a development standpoint. We want to not fall too far behind everybody else. And it's not actually going to take 6 turns to build the settler, because we're going to have the extra industry from the mill foundry anyway. Okay, 4 turns, that's not awesome, but I think we can work with it at the very least. This tribe wants me to destroy a Delver village in Sayagor. Well, it always asks you to destroy villages in adjacent regions, so this might be the region, and if it's not, then we know for sure there's something over here. Yep, this is where the Delvers are at. Colonize the region that has the Delvers in it. Why? Alright. Alright, twist my arm, and notice we can see 2 regions, and neither one of them have the quest glow, which means there's a 3rd region somewhere in the, or a 3rd village somewhere in the region. So that is actually very compelling to settle in. Let's go talk to a lot of people. Hopefully we can get our hero leveled up pretty quickly. Gift 8 dye to the Gorin. I do not have any dye. What does the luxuries market look like at the beginning of the game? Okay, I assumed that there would not be enough of anything to pop an immediate booster, but it's been long enough since I played these guys that I was not certain. Alright, I guess we'll aim for up here. There's villages and ruins yet to interact with. Did we talk to these Saratan yet? Return to the village when you're ready to give them 50 dust. Well, this is the region we're planning on settling in, so I would like to get them pacified quickly if we can. Okay, bring your hero to their other village. So obviously we'll just do a snap over here. Which does mean that our hero's not going to be assigned to a city anytime soon. But I think it's a reasonable trade-off to make, forgetting... Is it just 2? It looks like it's just 2 villages in the region. Still, pretty good. 2 extra points of population, effectively. Alright, so if we were going to settle over here, what is the tile? Well, a life tree is a pretty compelling thing. Not a lot else going on in this region, so I assume we just settle near the life tree. Okay, another thing compelling us to colonize the region. It really was not going to take this much convincing. Alright, we have too many quests, the game feels. Well, the good news is we're on a bunch of fairly easy quests. So, we are definitely in the running for the initiative buff. Actually, I wonder if I should just turn this guy around, because the hero's going to reveal a lot of this area, and we should see if there's anything over to the east. Oh, we can see another player over the water. I was hoping they had changed their minds. Okay, 10 gold we should definitely use immediately to get our approval level up. And I guess he's about to be warped out of here anyway. So maybe it does make sense to just keep this other unit going in the direction it is going. Alright, we will display our hero to you and get pacification. So we are now at 3 villages pacified. Where does that put us in the overall ranking? 2nd. Okay. So I believe it is the case that the player always wins ties on these, which means that if we're in 2nd, somebody else is at 4 at least. Probably, my guess is, entirely through military conquest, because I believe the AI actually just doesn't do quests. Although, we know that at least with the community patch on, it does do the Rust to Ruin thing. Ooh, spices. Okay, I'm going to, as soon as our settler is finished, probably, we'll pop the spices. Because we want to put the spices down before the next city is spawned, and also food is good. What else can we do easily? This is going to pop. We don't have to worry about that. So this is going to put us on 4. This is going to put us on 5. And then we just have to settle the Delver Village area, and that'll be 8. Okay. Do we want to do the Delver Village area first? I think the city itself is going to be considerably weaker, right? It's like we could settle here and then expand out to here, or vice versa. That's really all that's going on in that region. This is so much better, though. What if I just built another settler right now? Is that at all feasible? Like if we just, like, really went for it? Well, in terms of influence, what we'd like to have is enough influence to do that, right? We want to do this because we need it for the minor faction quest, and obviously 20% science is amazing. I guess we don't need the 20% science though. We could just do that. So we definitely will not have enough resources if we actually found the second city before turn 20 to get the big empire plan. It might be worth trading off the 20% science. We certainly don't want to found the third city before turn 21, or before turn 20, anyway. So these guys have the cornerstone of diplomacy. I'm trying to think, is there any particular reason to do any particular thing with this hero right now? I think we're kind of just waiting until the reassignment cooldown's up. I guess we could run that way. Who knows? Might be interesting stuff going on up here that we haven't seen yet. Here we have a village of eyeless ones. Would like me to go and fight monsters in that temple ruin. Well, unfortunately, we're not in much of a position to fight monsters. I do want 10 Moonleaf. Okay, well, the Dust Eclipse is certainly interesting. So, make sure all the Nidya villages are pacified in the region. We got our titanium, and now we must delve a bit deeper. Inspect the unspoiled ruins in Gogthal. Well, that's far away from everybody. I guess that's your job, since we know we can't go search those ruins safely anyway. Cool, we found nothing. It's my favorite thing. Disappointment. Yeah, you get over here, and then... I'm not sure how we want to time this out. It may be worth holding off on the city one additional turn. Well, I guess it would have to be 2 additional turns. What I'm thinking is I want the spices to be actually, like, functioning on this city as long as possible, but we have to pop the spice booster before we pop the next city out. We also got 15 wine, which is amazing. Yeah, I guess it's probably not worth waiting. But we could, right? We could wait a little bit and have the settler just search some ruins real fast. Do I want to turn you around, or do I value getting more information more? No, it's kind of a lot of dust, actually. And remember, we do already have access to the hero marketplace, so if we were to get a string of lucky searches here and get like 75 to 100 dust a couple of times, we could make some pretty good use of that. Check out this one. 75, 75, 90. It's certainly compelling. Alright, I'm going to wait 1 extra turn here by doing this. On, show me like 90 more dust. Okay, 80 is like 90. It did exactly what I asked it to do. This expansion may be more aggressive than is warranted. And somebody else got to the pacify 8 villages thing on turn 16. Fair enough. We don't get the initiative. Hopefully we won't need it. And also, hopefully we won't end up fighting the guy who got it. So we have 425 dust. I probably should have just bought a hero instead of hitting past turn there. Alright, so that's where we're going to put that city down. We may wait a moment. Okay, here we have some ruins. 30 dust. So Syria Alastra has one more turn left on assignment cooldown. I have to decide whether I want to go for this, which we might not get to in time, right? Because the dust eclipse could end. Or whether we just want to go over here and get information. I think I would rather do the latter, especially with the, the possibility of there having been another ruin over here. You are just going to search these ruins. By the way, the reward for this is the Roads of Dust trinket, which will be very, very good for each of our heroes. So let's look at the marketplace really quickly. Who benefits us the most? We got a food boost 1, science boost 3. We do actually have some science problems. Ordinarily, I wouldn't really consider that hero, but we are in a weird position here. Slavery is, honestly, this is not a bad call for our second city. A lot of food. We have 3 pacified villages already. And then we can end up with just a whole lot of food. That city could be a real powerhouse. Allegra has all army stuff. Food boost 2, influence boost 3 is interesting. And then it looks like the rest of these, dust boost is not bad. And Forgotten do have a skill that gives you dust from forests, which is interesting, but most of the rest of their skill tree is focused on espionage and stuff. This will probably be a game where we engage in a little bit more espionage than normal, because having extra dust, of course, leads me to want to get extra heroes. So what we're thinking about like feeds on bones versus lore master Senate Nwana. You get extra food from rivers followed by influence. So not bad for the capital. We almost have enough to hire both of them, right? It's like, it would be like 600. Yeah, so we could still get lucky and actually get 2 more heroes. Remember, we are going to have 3 cities. At least that's the hope. I'm going to take this guy. The capital could use the food boost, and influence is powerful. There's not a ton of really good ways to get it in the early game. I'm going to take this guy. Doesn't help with our goals of getting more dust. Does help with our goals of having populous, useful cities. Unfortunately, also demands to be paid. How dare he? Okay, so I don't want to put down the settler this turn, I think. I'm going to wait until next turn, because this is the turn these guys will be done. This guy will be done. We pop the spices and then settle the city. Just to try to get a 1 turn extra value out of that spice booster on the 1 city. I'm not sure if that's right or not. Let's go ahead and fire this, and we may as well fire this too. I should have fired the wine earlier. The wine we could have fired last turn. Alright, so this settler is going to go over by the tree. I'm still not sure whether we're settling here or here, but that is a decision that we don't have to make this turn. And Syria Alastra now has the ability to be reassigned. I'm going to run over this way real quick, and if we can search this ruin with Syria, we will. You wanted me to destroy that Delver village. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen. Sorry. You were headed for this thing, because we need Roads of Dust. Thus the city was founded, and my first efforts came to glorious fruition. For, if I was not mistaken, the object that I had discovered would lead me to even greater treasure. It does seem mysterious. It is apparently an ancient manuscript. Reveals the secrets of the Endless, who use dust magic to reduce both the amount of friction generated by metals and their weight. Industrial goods last longer and require less fuel, and armies can skim faster across the land. That's a little bit of a short sell on the abilities of dust. Alright, so if the eclipse lasts one more turn, we get to search 2 more unspoiled ruins. There's no way we're going to actually have the resources to hire the other hero, unfortunately. I think I do want to do this, even though it's very expensive. I mean, you know what? We might be able to hire the other hero, right? Because we have stuff we can sell. Hold on, we'll see. I do want to put this down this turn, though. I don't want to delay any further. We could delay 2 more turns and get the cheaper Empire plan, but I think that would be a real mistake. Man, that's a good settle. And that actually makes us positive on dust and everything. Yeah, that's just very good. So, I think we're going to focus on population a little bit. I want to get as much industry into the mill foundry as possible, but also let's get a berth. That's a powerful city right away. I talked to you, right? Yeah. What was I supposed to do with these guys? I've already forgotten, because that's me. Oh, that's right. This is the region that we needed to this for. Well, we certainly can. We are probably going to forgo the 20% science bonus. Okay. It is said by the sages that any undertaking must balance the influences of the past, the present, and the future. With the city established and troops at my command, I felt the present was more secure than it had been for some time. As for my plans for the future, they depended very much on what I discovered in the ruins from the past. For upon Auriga, the past is a weighty thing indeed. The relics I had recovered hinted at something truly enormous, a great complex of wonders and wizardry, hidden somewhere beneath our very feet. Curse me thrice if I did not weep with joy at the discovery. For dust is not merely our tally and currency. It is stuff that has great power on its own. And should I amass it in the quantities that I saw in my dreams, I was sure that I could shape the very stuff of which our world is made. The ancient whispers and legends I had heard held some grain of truth. But how much? Make sure you have an ardent mage's hero in your empire, equip them with the roads of dust, and assign them to an army. Well, inconvenient, given the direction I thought we were going. So the winter is going to be soon. Probably cultivation and aquapulvistics should wait. So we could go for sewers. We should probably go for sewers. No, we should get science, actually. Our research rate is slowing. And over here in the capital, I see no reason not to build an empire mint, but we probably... You know what? I'm going to get a berth next turn no matter what. Let's try to get these done quickly. And in fact, I should probably wrap up the video soon. I'm looking over and seeing that it is about that time. Here, we'll play out this next turn. Please don't end the dust eclipse. Please, one more turn. Just one more turn. Okay, that's very, very good for us. Oh, somebody just beat us to this thing. That's a real shame. You know, I did my best. I actually could not have popped any more luxury boosters than I did pop. We're going to keep heading toward the trading tech, or the trading skill, rather. And there's nothing else for you to do, I believe, over here. So let's just go ahead and reassign Siri. Although, I don't actually want... If we do end up buying a Necrophage hero, we want him in Miranlar. I suppose it won't actually matter, because both of the cities will have 3 pacified villages to work with. So yeah, let's just reassign you, get you over here, and start generating stuff. Generating XP at the very least. Can we move anybody off of industry without impacting the mill foundry? Okay, we can move a couple people off. And that gets us another point of population in 2 turns. I am trying my best here with the min-maxing. Okay, yeah, I think that's a reasonable way to do that. Let's really, really, really focus on getting population in here. So you can't quite get that. You're not going to get to the place I want to settle next turn anyway. And even if you could, well, no, if we could get to the settling location next turn, I would settle there because we could just buy the Empire plan first. My guess is that this is not still going to be available in 2 turns. Well, hold on. Let's do the thing we know we're doing for sure first. Okay, 80 more dust. Well, we're definitely able to buy that other hero if we want to just sell some of this titanium, which I am absolutely fine doing. And then you're not going to get over to there, but you know, we have to head in this direction anyway because there's still unexplored territory. You know what we should do? We should commit our Empire plan. That's how we should end the episode. So you are going to run in this general direction. Oh, hey. The Delvers have already produced units. That's a little unfortunate for me. Going to definitely affect the way I have to move on this coming turn. Probably just want to get out of their region. Dervishes are not super good fighters. They're fast, but you can see 29 attack, 28 damage, 38 defense. Fast is pretty much all they are. And I think we'll just move toward the city. I don't think this is going to be available to me, although I'm going to feel a little dumb if I don't go after it and it does end up being available. If I ran this way, we could go 1, 2... No, that wouldn't work because these are forested. It would be 2, 4, 5, 6. I wouldn't quite get there on the turn after. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Well, I'm going to try that. We'll just run in that direction. Okay, we've got lots of important stuff building. Hopefully they don't go after the settler, actually. That could be really inconvenient. Okay, and I was right. The dust eclipse did not last long enough for me to get to that in any case. So we have to spend our influence before settling the city. And we've now colonized the region, so we just have to maintain a minimum of 3 influence in the city for 5 turns, which of course means this person is devoted to influence for a little while, because that is the way that we are going to get the population the fastest. It didn't even actually cost us a point of... it didn't even cost us a turn on the next birth either, so that's pretty good. And we got control of the region, so now when we build our glass steel extractor, we'll get that crossbow out of the big mound of glass steel. We also got 10 Titan bones that we can just sell, probably at this point. I'm assuming there's not 10 other Titan bones on the market. Oh, almost. Man, if we could get to 20 Titan bones, that booster would be pretty good right now. So we're not quite able to maintain happiness. Or, fervency, unfortunately, with the growth of our population. The growth of our empire. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find some more resources yet. There are still unsearched ruins potentially up here. We can't search that one. Well, we can get our 2 units together and search it and maybe hope to just win the fight. It's not impossible. So here... What am I building? I think a museum is unlikely to work out. We could start working on a burrow that we won't actually be able to finish right away. We could start working on a military unit, because, you know, being able to fight minor factions is valuable. We could also start working on a settler. I know, this is maybe aggressive already, but what if we just took over the whole island by, turn 40? Oh, actually, check this out. I didn't even notice how anomaly-packed this region is. There's no food at all, but that is a considerable amount of dust and science and industry. Yeah, that's very interesting. Alright, you guys are headed generally up in this direction. How we get away from the Gelderus. Although, actually, maybe I should have attacked them, because we do need to clear the region. Whatever, we'll have time for it. So, the last thing to decide on this turn, I'm gonna not commit a choice here, give myself some time to think about it. The last thing to consider on this turn is whether we want to pay for a hero. There is an Ardent Mage hero available. There are two, in fact. So we could go after that part of the faction quest. We could sell 40 dust worth of Titan Bones. The value of titanium has only gone up, and we really don't need 20 of it. I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is here. I guess let's not make this decision yet either. There's all kinds of stuff we can do next episode. So, we gotta figure out what to build in the capital. We gotta figure out if we think that selling resources is worth it to purchase a hero this turn. Obviously, Feeds on Bones makes a powerful governor. Yeah, none of his stuff is positionally dependent. He just cares that there be 3 villages in the region. Although I suppose it's worth noting that Sayagor doesn't have the villages pacified just yet. So if we were going to try to buy one of them and then wait and buy the other one, we would want to buy him second. I don't know how we could pull that off, but maybe there's a way. Anyway, I should stop hemming and hawing on ending the episode and say, hey, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when we, I assume, continue to just spread over the land like a plague. And we'll see you then.